So next up, Tower of Valni 4. Oh, what? Okay then. Yeah, Kalark. Yes, that Kalark. This is one of those unlockables that I was mentioning before. So for completing the 3rd floor of the Tower of Valni, and only during the post-game, we unlock the ability to use Kalark on our side. So, you know what that means? Yes, I have in fact made bios for these characters, so let's go. Kalark is the first of this game's unlockable bonus characters. They're all exclusive to the creature campaign, and are obviously non-canon to the storyline. Many of the bonus characters are based on bosses that you fight during the main story, and usually they start out with similar stats to what they had as a boss. So let me just get out of the way that what difficulty you are on does not affect these bonus characters' base stats. Even if you're on hard mode, they'll still have the same base stats as they would join with on normal mode. The majority of the bonus characters aren't that great. They're really only worth it just for being able to play as the villains. They all join as very high level pre-promotes, and most have pretty bad base stats for their level. They're alright initially, but they don't have much room to grow at all, which is a shame since most of them have pretty decent growth rates. I should also point out that while I am listing their affinities just for completeness sake, they do literally nothing since bonus characters can't support. Kalark did get a fairly decent buff to his base stats in the English version, putting them around the level of his hard mode boss stats rather than his normal mode ones. And among the bonus characters, I find him to be one of the better ones, though that isn't really saying much. The main benefit to the bonus characters is the free items that they come with. Kalark has a complete clone of his boss inventory, which means a free tomahawk and silver axe, but the main benefit is you get a second Hoplon guard, which is probably the best thing about this guy. Yeah, the main thing about Kalark is all these items that he comes with. A free extra Hoplon guard is great, as well as a free silver axe and tomahawk. That's really what these characters are, more like free items than anything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a Hoplon guard to Noel, just so that he has a buffer against critical hits. As for everyone else, I think we're pretty much fine. Let me just see if there are any chests in this map. So yeah, this map. Okay, yeah, there are a few Tower of Ruins maps where you're forcibly split up. This is one of them. This map actually reminds me a lot of the chapter where you fight Garneth in Mystery of the Emblem. I mean, it's definitely not the same, but like these side parts here with just the stairs going up at the very end in this narrow passageway. Anyway, so we are split up, and there are no chests, so thankfully I don't need to bring Rennek here. Guess I can bring Naomi. I mean, you probably want me to show off Kalark, but I don't know, I'd probably rather just use my B team a little bit. Also, I'm actually glad that I got the Iron Axe dropped off that guy and not the hammer, because like I said, the hammer is completely useless. Who wants an Iron Axe? Doesn't really look like anyone here needs one, so I'll just put that back. Okay, Franz, I think you will need to grab an extra lance, and you... Let's go ahead and swap that over. And then you can swap that for anybody. Actually, I suppose you can take that Killing Edge. So let's see if there are any more Dark Tomes that Noel can use. I guess I can take Nosferatu. Eclipse is unlikely to hit anything, so I don't really care about that. And everyone else should probably be fine. Okay. Yet another Rune Sword. Look at all these Rune Swords that I have. Kind of a shame that they're A-ranked. Meaning that not many people can actually use those. So anyway, who do I want on each side? There are still no... You'd think there'd be Moguls at least in one of these, but yeah, there are still no magic enemies at all. Okay, 50 gold. That halberd, I will need to be careful of that. Maybe for that reason, I should put most of my mountain characters in the middle path. I can probably afford to... Actually, I need a healer in each area, so Rachel's gonna go there. Halberd... Anything else? Well, there's a killer axe there. Doesn't look like there's any more droppable weapons here. Nope, just 50 gold. The levels still seem to range from like 8 to 11. Not all that much of a change. Although the boss is a bit stronger. The boss basically goes up by 1 level for every tower map, so in this one we got a level 4 boss. Don't really think Nami or Noel should stay there. Right, yeah, let's just move out. So, right, Killer Axe and stuff, and I know I'm using Gilliam a lot here, but, just kind of think like he's the best one to tank that Killer Axe. Iron Sword, and there's the Halberd. Not to be confused with the, ship from the Kirby games. Oh, that's actually pretty good, you know, one-rounding that guy. Because he at least has marginally more chance of hitting Marissa. And that was enough for a level up, exactly, too. That was not a good level up. Yeah, Nami has a fairly decent strength growth, so she's getting a little bit screwed here. Yeah, let's go ahead and equip that Killing Edge. Now, as for the others, this floor here is the same style as floors that sometimes disappear, but I'm pretty sure that floor won't disappear. It's been a little while since I played this part of the Tower of Valni. And let's, I guess, since both paths technically have a healer, if I do this, I'll send Arthur. Also, Arthur can benefit from the support with Nami this direction. Should I leave the enemies here for the others, or I think maybe I should just send this group right up the middle. What have we got here? Iron Axe, Hand Axe, more Sharp Claw Spike, oh, Poison one. 60 Avoid. Going on that pillar gives 80 Avoid. That's... yeah, all the Maldoogs, especially the boss, that makes that not exactly a good prospect. Just gonna have Kyle go there. Oh, I should have given the Steel Blade to Kyle. Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to race into a D in the first place. Oh well. And yet more Twisted Shadows B. We'll be hearing this song quite a lot. And that's exactly enough to one-round this spider. I was about to say this isn't enough to one-round this thing, but then you crit. I swear that I've seen Dicel do something similar earlier in the playthrough, but I kind of forget. And yeah, high crit rate means nothing if you're doing no damage. No doubling there, though. Oh, you're attacking first. And you hit. And you didn't crit. Amazing commentary here, sorry. Yeah, the tower and ruins aren't really all that interesting, but I kind of had to... well, the ruins are a bit more interesting than this. The tower, I'm just practically slaughtering everything. Didn't expect this to be so easy, even with, a B team, but, I guess it's kind of fine. The shorter these are, the more I guess I can fit into a single episode, which at least speeds up these post-game videos a bit. Because the ruins are definitely going to take longer. And there's the one droppable item that I had spawned in this map. There's one of the few things that can damage Kyle. Okay, let's continue on. You've taken a very slight amount of damage, but it's probably fine. Yeah, everyone here's level 2. I probably should have healed with Arthur, but that's also probably fine. Let's just have Noel do a little bit of damage. I think I'll leave the center to those three, and then I'll just sort of slowly advance up the sides with this group. For some reason, this map actually feels a lot easier than some of the... well, at least a lot more straightforward than some of the others. It kind of feels smaller, too. Some of the later Tower of Valni maps have some interesting gimmicks to them, so I'm looking forward to getting to those. Let's see, you're in another Sharp Claw Spider. That's pretty amazing. Standing on open ground, only have a 12% hit rate against her. I mean, she's definitely not quite Clarine from FE6, who was just hilarious in levels of unhittableness, but Rachel's still pretty great. That's not quite enough. France could try and finish the job, though. I mean, Carl does need the experience more. You know, I had a feeling that would double miss. I could just kind of tell. I was like, yeah, that's going to double miss, isn't it? 13, and then potentially getting hit by another 13 men. Yeah, that boss is going to do a lot of damage. You're actually not fast enough to double Kyle. Which is kind of weird by Malduin standards, but this is a very, very early game Malduin. Should I do this? Yeah, I guess I'll go for this. Okay, good, that missed. That means he's at no risk of dying in the enemy phase at all. So the two green cavaliers are up this part of the map fighting. Trying to think of more things that I could say here. But, there's really not that much. I mean, I guess, you know, suddenly just thought about this, I could probably... kind of a bit of damage, but I could probably talk about Fire Emblem Heroes a bit, maybe. I mean, I'm not really that big into the game all that much, but... And I still haven't spent a single cent on it. I just don't like promoting the free-to-play model, but... Even though I know it's a bit too late, because it's already massively succeeded anyway, but I personally just don't want to sink any money into it. I'd rather save up for actual full games. And I've still got well over, like, almost 150 heroes without ever needing to buy orbs, so... That's still fine, but I have not had much luck with the recent two banners. The Sacred Stones banner, I did get Amelia, who I've heard is very good, so I'm glad for that. But... I don't like the fact that you're attacking from a pillar. But... I didn't get any of the other Sacred World heroes, because I really wanted Tana, and I also really wanted Innes because of the fact that he's voiced by the Phantom Thief Joker. And also the Smash Brothers announcer. And also some guy in Tales of Zestiria. I forget his name. But he felt to me like one of the first Xander Mobus roles outside of Smash. But yeah, I wanted to get him and I obviously didn't. And at least against Seth, who ironically is actually quite bad in Heroes. Pretty weird. But then again, a character's actual combat prowess in their original games is no indication of how good they'll be in Heroes. Like, just see Cecilia, who's actually surprisingly decent in that game. Although I should point out, I know very few people know, like, Reinhardt from his home game. They mostly know him from Heroes due to just how absurdly good he is there. Nice doubling of a Malduin, Rachel. But I do want to stress, Reinhardt really is that strong in his home game as well. It's no exaggeration how he is in Heroes. That guy is crazy. As far as Camus archetype characters are to fight, Reinhardt is, from what I remember, probably one of the toughest. I mean, when I first played that game, I only even won that fight because he decided to capture Leif rather than kill him. And that act of mercy reduced his stats considerably to the point where I could actually finish him off. Although Reinhardt, like quite a lot of not random bosses, but like quite a lot of the retainers in Fire Emblem Fates, I'm pretty sure, it's been a while since I played Thrakia 776, but I think you can finish the map without killing him. Which, if I did play that game, I would like to do that, because Reinhardt's a very sympathetic character, and it'd be nice to, you know, not kill him. The map that he's part of is also sheer hell. Yeah, it's basically Reinhardt himself is terrifying, but the map that he's on is also terrifying because let's just say that you've got a character there who has 20-star leadership, so he's increasing the hit rate of everything on the map by like 50% or even more, and there are a lot of ballistas on the map too. So I found the best strategy for that map was either to just wait out the first 20 turns, because that guy will leave on his own eventually, and get rid of the leadership bonus, or have a flyer go near the boss, because the moment somebody goes near the boss, the 20-star leadership character also leaves the map. So I like doing that too. And then we can actually do the map on its own terms, but then, yeah. So, long story short, Reinhardt, no exaggeration, he is definitely as strong in his home game as he is in Heroes. Oh, I was hoping a Phantom had actually done something significant, but nope. Man, at least he didn't die, but still. But anyway, I had no luck with the Sacred Stones banner, and I'm also having no luck with the Brave Heroes banner, because I did get the free Brave Ike. Now, yes, you might be asking why I didn't go for Lyn, and normally I would, it's just that I don't have Ike or any, like, I don't have Ike at all. I have not got Ike. I didn't pull him in the Path of Radiance banner. I got Soren and Titania from that banner, but no Ike. And I recently got 5-star Mist, so now Ike is the only one I'm missing from Path of Radiance's banner. But I was just thinking, you know, they're giving me an opportunity for a free Ike, I might as well. I mean, I don't have Lucina either, but I would prefer to just get her regular Falchion version than her Lance version. And Roy, as much as I kinda like his Brave Heroes version, anyone who's been on this channel long enough knows that I really don't like Roy, so no way was I picking him. And Lyn, stat-wise, I do feel is the best out of all those Brave Heroes, but I already had Bride Lyn. I managed to get both her and Bride Sheeta from... I know some people pronounce it Kada, but I still pronounce it like the Japanese/European name, even with its American spelling. So yeah, but I did get Bride Sheeta as well as Bride Lyn. Not Bride Cordelia, who I hear is really amazing, but... I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Cordelia to begin with, so I'm fine with that. I mainly like the fact that I got Bride Sheeta just because her quote is just so amazing if you know her home game. It's, I believe in love is a direct reference to Shadow Dragon, her recruitment conversation with Roger, which you can find on YouTube by searching for most hilarious recruitment conversation in Fire Emblem history. Because that's what many people consider that to be. But, anyway, so yeah, other than the free Ike that I picked, I have not pulled a single Brave Hero. One of my pulls, I got 2 Floriners in a row, and another one, I got both Rhys and Matthew. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Matthew as a character, but I don't like it when he shows up in summons, because you already have him anyway, and he's not even that good to begin with. Now I'm kind of forgetting, was it... I think he's voiced by Max Middleman in that game. Pretty sure it's Max Middleman. But, anyway, I thought his voice was quite good. So, after that tangent, it's time for the next floor. Yeah, that one was even shorter than both the earlier ones. And so we press on to the 5th floor of the Tower of Valni. Thankfully, Gilliam is not going to still be poisoned. No unlocks for this one, though. I'm going to just go ahead and check the map first. And whoa, boy, that's a lot of enemies. Yeah, this one is the enormous horde of zombies map. There are going to be even more coming too. Reinforcements will come from there and there. So I forgot the sheer number of enemies on this map. This is just, holy crap, that's a lot of zombies. But yeah, also 2 entombs. So this is going to be pretty good for some experience. There are also 2 chests here, and the entomb bosses both have chest keys. So we don't technically need to bring a thief to this map, but if we save the bosses for last, then we will need to bring a thief. Anyway, let me just quickly skim through to see, I mean, these are some decently high-level Revenants, but, I mean, they're still Revenants, so it's not like that is, that really matters. Okay, there's a longbow there. 50 gold, 10 gold, that's 2 chest keys. Yeah, looks like the only other things are that longbow, so I might want to snipe that guy. So we're all starting in a big line. Okay, ignore that. I was about to say something about the chests here that turned out to be completely wrong. I was thinking of the next Tower of Valni map. The chests here, one of them randomly has either a killer weapon or a blue or red gem, and the other one has a random mid-tier magic, a recover staff, or a blue or red gem. So, yeah, more random chest items. Also, the chest from Tower of Valni 3, I believe, is actually not random, now that I've checked. It's always 3,000 gold. So anyway, really nothing much for it other than to just go. 40 enemies! Let me just quickly check the records to see how many kills I've got. 92, okay. We're over halfway through the tower, and I'm a little under halfway there, but this map's got 40 enemies on it, so it shouldn't be too bad. Does anyone else, apart from that archer, have long-range weapons? Don't think so, so I can safely one-shot this guy. And get myself that longbow. Arto's just getting a lot of random weapons that he can't use. I suppose Naomi could maybe go for... Yeah, let's have Naomi go for this one. She could actually try shooting the boss with a longbow, but I'm not really sure I want her to get all the experience here. I do kind of like Rangers. I mean, they're not quite as cool looking as Nomad Troopers, but I understand why they changed them, because it wouldn't make sense to have that. That's not a kill, is it? That's definitely not a kill. It wouldn't make sense to have that exclusively Sakaean class in a universe that doesn't have Sakae. Speaking of universe, I'm kind of desperately looking for things to talk about here, but speaking of universe, I guess I could talk about the implications as to where Magvel lies in the greater Fire Emblem universe, because it is still the one Fire Emblem game in the series that has no implied connections to any other world. I know Fate's Landia technically isn't connected to anything, but some of the lines in the Before Awakening DLC do imply a bit of a at least that it's known of in Awakening's world. Magvel, on the other hand, is never referenced at all in anything, and it seems to be completely self-contained. But there is the Smash Brethren DLC in Fire Emblem Awakening, which put all of the Sacred Stone's characters in the same group as the Elib characters, the ones from FE6 and 7. So this obviously doesn't prove anything conclusively at all, because it's just, you know, DLC. It probably doesn't really imply much or anything like that, but this leads me to believe that it's possible that Magvel could be to Elib what Valentia is to Arcania. A different continent, but in the same world, where a different Fire Emblem game takes place. I mean, there's nothing explicitly contradicting that, but, well, I mean, there's nothing really explicitly proving it either. Francis to level 1, I guess I can try and get him a little bit more experience. Guess these Revenants are a little bit stronger, and getting hit by a lot of them all in a row would probably hurt, but they're so numerous and just so weak that it's really not much of a threat. But anyway, back to random Fire Emblem universe theories. So, I guess you could say it's my headcanon that Magvel takes place in the same universe as the Elib games, but just on a different continent, much like Valentia does for Arcania, which would make sense because this game is directly inspired by Fire Emblem Gaiden. So it was also always my theory that there are actually two separate Fire Emblem universes. The one that had Arcania, Valentia, implicitly Tellius because of Priam's existence and the fact that Chrom knows about him in Awakening, and by extension Awakening, because that is Arcania and Valentia just 2,000 years in the future. Oh, and also Yggdrasil, because that's... I forget exactly where it's said outside. I know the developers' notes have said it, but the world of Fire Emblem 4 and 5 is actually in the same universe as Arcania, just on a different continent, and apparently 1,000 years in the past. So really nothing much has changed in the Fire Emblem world technology-wise in thousands of years. But I always used to think that that was one universe, and the other universe was Elib and Magvel, the GBA games. Because the Elib games are one of the few Fire Emblem regions that Awakening has no implied connections to at all, and there's also the existence of the Dragon's Gate, which we didn't really think about originally, but now a lot of people, well, in fact, even back in the day, it was a common theory that the world through the Dragon's Gate in FE7 was actually Arcania from Marth's games, because dragons are said to still be plentiful there, while in Elib, dragons were all but wiped out 1,000 years ago. But now that Awakening's come out and there's the whole Outrealm Gate thing, people now think that the Dragon's Gate in Elib is actually that universe's version of Awakening's Outrealm Gate, and that it connects to the second Fire Emblem universe, the one where basically Marth's games, Awakening, Gaiden, and FE4 take place. So yeah, that was originally my theory about the interconnectivity of the Fire Emblem universe. I considered making a video on it at one point, but it kind of never really came through. But it does make sense in some ways, especially seeing as that in Fates, they explicitly called their version of the Outrealm Gate Dragon's Gate. Speaking of Fates though, figuring out where that fits into the whole timeline is pretty difficult. And yeah, there's a reinforcement, and it's a ranged enemy. With a longbow and a second longbow that's droppable. Yeah, that's kind of bizarre, but at least we're guaranteed to get a longbow. I guess I could have Carl use an axe now. I haven't really shown him using an axe in the entire tower. But yeah, I mean, who knows where Fates Landia fits into things, especially due to that game's complete lack of any semblance of world building in the first place. Really could be anywhere. I mean, we don't even have a name for that continent. But yeah, there was that line in the Before Awakening DLC, which I didn't care about getting because I ended up hating that DLC because of all the stupid Master Ninjas critically Chrom with tiny percents and stuff like that. Yeah, I did not have a good time with that DLC. It's probably intended to be done earlier in the game, when the Master Ninjas are just regular ninjas. Now Gilliam is holding down an entire part of the map by himself. I'm gonna send him some help, yeah, let's send him some help now. I guess really the only place for Gilliam to stand is around here. I guess I can go here to block off this area more thoroughly. But yeah, random Fire Emblem timeline theories. Because, I mean, unlike Zelda, we don't have an official timeline to fall back on. Now, this is a bit of a tangent, and I really hope I don't cause controversy by saying this, but, like, personally, I always found it really weird how many people disputed the official timeline that got released for Zelda. I just always felt like, hey, it's official, it makes sense to me, you know, I just felt like people should have just left it at that, but for some reason people were just insistent on believing that it couldn't possibly be real and that their headcanons were still right. I mean, you know, I'm a very much a canon over anything else kind of guy. I mean, I've never really liked the concept of fanfiction and headcanons to begin. I mean, I say that and I say that I admitted to having a headcanon before, so that's a bit hypocritical, but just like, whenever something comes out as canon, I usually like to accept it as canon and not really question it. So I never really had much question about the Zelda timeline, although apparently there was another Zelda compendium released in 2017 that actually revise the timeline and change things. Not sure how true that is, but if that's the case, then that'd be really weird, because, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, one other case of where I just felt that fans were getting a bit too angry about their headcanons being deconfirmed was the Shadow Triad in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. I don't know, it just kind of annoyed me just... I mean, the idea of them being the Striaton triplets was not a bad theory, and it made sense within the context of Black and White on its own. To some degrees, I guess, if you didn't look at the official artwork of the Shadow Triad. Although, you know, let me just mention something. So, when I first played Black and White, I always thought the Shadow Triad were female, because you never got to see them up close, you just got to see their map sprites, and they all had long hair. I always assumed they were all female, but actually they were male. Which the anime special made very clear by giving them very deep voices. But anyway, back to the subject of the straight and try. Like, it was an alright theory, but it really bothered me just how angry fans got when it was confirmed to be not true. And, I mean, it was almost disturbing just how insistent fans were that those three were secretly evil. Admittedly, the anime, has a pretty funny, image that makes Silent look really evil, but yeah. Still can't believe it's actually pronounced Silent. I was calling him Chillin for the longest time. I never even watched the black and white anime, apart from a tiny bit that I saw at, Australian Nationals 2014 when it was just playing on a computer, and it was an episode that didn't leave a particularly good impression on me because it's the one where Ash brings two Pokemon to a 3-on-3 battle, the gym battle with Elesa, I believe, or Elisa, or however you pronounce it. But and then he also forgets one of his Pokemon's genders because 5th Gen Ash lost so much intelligence. As someone who never really liked him to begin with, I wasn't really bothered by that. But yeah, I'm going on a lot of tangents here, but really, it's just it's pretty much autopilot at this point. I'm just watching the zombies all die on the enemy phase. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of any other headcanons that a lot of people were pretty annoyed at being deconfirmed, but don't want to go into potentially spoilers for things. I know there are a few Ace Attorney, although Ace Attorney seems to be pretty good about people's headcanons ending up being true. Like, everyone pictured Edgeworth as wearing glasses post-time skip, and he did. Alright, now I need to get that chest key to someone who can swing around that other side. That was not the best level up. I also need to not put it in the convoy because I have no access to my convoy. I'm not bringing Ephraim. Another reinforcement. Gillian doesn't really need any help over there. Let's have everyone focus on this side instead. I should be able to one-round all of the... Yeah, no, I can one-round this. This is, in fact, exact... Is that? No, that's... Yeah, it is exactly going to one-round. Nice. But anyway, yeah. I guess just trying to think of more things I could talk about regarding headcanons like that. Yeah, let's not go for the overkill. I still think sometimes my favourite kinds of guesses are the ones where the fandom was both right and wrong at the same time. It happened for a certain Ace Attorney fan game, but I obviously am pretty serious about Ace Attorney spoilers, so I'm not going to be talking about what that was, but basically, there was a case in an Ace Attorney fan game where everyone saw the killer coming a mile away, but nobody came even close to guessing what their true nature was like at all. Like, nowhere near close. Now let's just get a little bit more sword experience. Only got 13 enemies. How many turns have we taken? 3. Yeah, they've lost a lot of enemies in such a short space of turns, and unfortunately I'm going to be a little bit resigned to the fact that Kyle might have to... Actually, I should probably have Kyle stay here and plug up this reinforcement point. I don't really want this chapter taking... Although, I guess I could try and grind a few more kills. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit 200 kills here. If I don't, then I'll show that secret character's bio anyway. Guess that's another subject that I could probably talk about a bit later. Secret characters in Fire Emblem, because there's actually quite a few of them. Sacred Stones is probably the most, I guess, like, involved when it comes to secret characters, because very rarely do they actually, like, have proper, like, are able to be used in major, like, maps and actually level up. Usually they're restricted to trial maps. But in a lot of cases, they usually let you play as, well, let you have, as special rewards, but they're usually tied to clearing the game a certain number of times, rather than doing specific things in the post-game like they are here. Yes, doubling with a Phantom. That's pretty sad. But yeah, I guess I'll talk about that later if I run out of things to say. This map is going very quickly too. Is it just me, or are these later ones being even shorter than the earlier ones? Guess another random tangent that I could go on, because there's really nothing that I can talk about besides tangents at this point. Noticing Gilliam, from what I've read, the Armor Knight triangle attack from FE6 is actually coded into this game. Probably just a consequence of being on the same engine as the earlier GBA games. Wow, I'm not getting good level ups here. I mean, not that I really need them, we're just slaughtering these enemies regardless of how high our stats are, but yeah. The Armor Knight triangle attack is coded into this game for some reason, but it's obviously not usable. I remember I did do a playthrough of FE6 where I used all three of them just because it was fun. I know they're not that great in that game, but just the fact that the Armor Knights had a triangle attack in general is one of my favourite classes in the series. It was just pretty fun. Unnecessary critical. And I'm starting to lose my voice. This is also why I didn't want to record these all in one sitting, because, even more reinforcements. Gotta slowly wade through them and step on that point so no more can come. This one actually spawned with a fetid claw. But yeah, commentating all of this in one sitting is gonna be pretty murder on the voice. You can check how long you've been going at it with the records thing. 1 hour 40 minutes so far. Guess I can use the javelin. Do have to make sure that I don't finish off everything before I've got the second chest. I suppose Noel can kill one of them. The other two are going to suicide into Franz regardless. And there's one of the rare drops that we got here. Rare drops, that's now reminding me of, like, it's not like a... I meant rare drops as in there aren't many item drops on this floor, not like rare as in rare item like, say, I don't know, FE guidance drop rates, which are completely stupid. And they're still stupid in Echoes for some reason. Although, Echoes did add the sort of the super monsters, as you call them, which have a better chance of, very slightly better chance of dropping things, which at least made things a little bit better, but still, just some of the items that you can only get by absurdly low drop rates. There are even achievements for getting all of them in Echoes as well, which is even worse. I guess I can just vaporize you with lightning. I always found it funny how the lowest tier light spell was called Lightning, and there's a Thunder Tome in Anima. This would just be called Light in the GameCube and Wii games. That's better. That's a lot better. And there's a chest key. Which I guess I should, technically speaking, trade to Naomi and have her run for the chest. Yeah, you know what? That's what I'll probably do. Because if I do that, I can now have her grab the key and run. And let's waste our one-use Iron Sword on our 1 HP Revenant. You're not even at a D rank, are you? Well, I'm not going to be able to check until the next turn. Wait a minute. Is everything going to kill themselves this turn before I get a chance to get any of the chests? They probably might. I don't think I thought that through very well. Because you're going to die. You're going to die. Yeah, everything probably is going to kill themselves. I might have just lost both the chests. Oh well, at least getting extra chest keys in my inventory is not bad in case of later chapters. And everything you find in chests here is just randomized items that you can get through the shops anyway. Except for one that we'll be seeing in the next chapter. Yeah, I really didn't think that through. I was about to say unless the javelin breaks, but it did not break. Instead, Fran's got an unnecessary critical. That's the last enemy on the map, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's the last enemy on the map. And, of course, Arto criticals it. And that's map over, isn't it? Yeah, map over, I didn't get the chests. That was kind of dumb, but it's fine. It's alright. Like I said, they're just random items anyway.